Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? Welcome to our broadcast after a very long time. It's good to have you back. I've missed you all a great lot, and I'm sure you've missed me. Thank you for those of you who have reached out to me from uh, from so many sources. I'm really, really very grateful to you guys. If you don't know what is on board right now, it is J0SHUA and the synagogue of church of whatever it is. And am I happy? Yes, I'm happy with what is trending, but then again, I am very sad. Happy on one hand because there was a time when they thought we were crazy. There was a time when they thought we were just noisemakers. There was a time when they said I would die. That things have been put on my head, curses have been put on my head. Why? Because we've been following the truth. We've been trying to just say the truth, but people just thought that we're crazy. So I'm happy because I'm not dead. I'm happy because maybe one or two people from what is happening right now, from what is trending right now, will get their salvation, will get their freedom in life. But if you think that I was being castigated as a result of what is happening today, if you think that I suffered anything, if you think that my life was made miserable because of the activities of J0SHUA and the synagogue church, I wonder what you will say when you hear the story of some other people who had direct contact with this church, who were members of this church, who were not just members, but high-ranking ministers or officials of this church who went through horror. If you thought that you saw anything in that documentary by BBC, I wonder what you can imagine these people went through for trying to confront J0SHUA. And when you're talking about these people, one of them in particular, Sister Bisola Johnson, is somebody who, she's just like an encyclopedia of every story you will ever get to hear coming out of J0SHUA's church. She was the first person who broke this news. She was the first person who dropped the bombshell. It was not just the bombshell, but I was talking to a friend of mine, and sometimes when I'm discussing with my wife, I just tell them, one thing I know about Bisola is that Bisola is somebody who is broken. You know, like when something is broken, a broken pot, somebody that is damaged. And so we quarrel, we fight, we are friends, but we have our issues too. But there's something that you can never take out of Bisola Johnson. It's her authenticity. The good job, the tremendous job she did concerning exposing the activities of J0SHUA and that church. And so I am privileged. I count it as a privilege after so many things we've been through to have Bisola Johnson in our studio today. I'm going to bring her up and then let her say hi to you people. And so please welcome Bisola Johnson here today. My sister, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you. I've been so tired,
I
but
know.
I must do this. I must do this for Dr. Chidi. Yes, we have come a long way.
You are one of those people who we are inspired by your resilience. Let me make a confession here. But there's so many things to say. I don't even know where to start. But the first confession I want to make to you is that honestly, Sister Bisola, when you came to me the very first time with your story, you remember now, we'll go halfway and I'll be like, okay, don't do, don't do, don't do. To me, they didn't make sense. It was too
Especially
much.
the spiritual aspects.
Especially
Oh,
the spiritual aspect, me, I don't go that way. But even the stories that you were telling, honestly, sometimes it didn't make sense because I was like, how is it possible? Come on now. How can you say he slept with this number of women? Now that machine. But
was it machine?
do you understand? But hearing
Even
this
even
people,
in Hollywood movie, it's not this much. Abba.
but honestly speaking, these things, how did you even feel? I know you must have goose pimple when you now sit back and see these people saying that they were the ones that were manipulating, orchestrating, putting those stories against you. Do you understand? It's like you looking at behind the scene of a movie and like, so these were the people doing this. I wonder how you felt.
Yeah, I actually didn't feel bad, about them. This is long ago. I've been reaching. Okay, it happened that I contacted somebody, one of those three girls that were involved in, in those. How will I call it? When a man had many women together.
Concubines.
Uh, yes, there is a particular word. Maybe I
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
So, and she was saying that with all the things somebody else did to her, I say, come off it. What about the one that you did to them? Even there was another man who was cursing somebody and said they did this to him. Then I begin to bring his mind to a certain time. See, I don't have anything, but God bless me with memories. Yes, to details. And I said in that meeting, this is what you said concerning somebody. The person came to you and said, I'm even tired of this place. You know what you did? You went to bring a midget and you recorded her without her knowing. And you went to report to J0SHUA. And J0SHUA called for workers' meeting. And in that meeting, the woman almost fainted when she was hearing her voice talking. It could have been a different thing when you report and she denied it. But this is her talking. So he couldn't say anything. This was where we came from, where we were pitched against one another. What they did, I've already done it to people. You understand? So if I see different of my movie or videos out there, I understand the psychology. It's only the people out here. See, I've been saying something, and there is a young man in that documentary that repeated the same thing. He said only the people that lived in that place can understand all these
Oh,
things we are
oh my
saying.
God. See, those boys' testimonies that gave me goose pimple. Those boys, hi, God, the fifth, what they call them, the fifth floor, waiting.
5-story boys.
5-story boys. I'm
Even
sure they
I
didn't tell
spoke
us everything. They didn't tell
today.
us. They didn't tell us everything. I know.
No. They said, listen, this is the message the young man sent to me.
Okay.
He said he got my number somewhere. Just wanted you to know that you are the one God uses to inspire us.
Look at that.
People like me and Emmanuel, thank God you never gave up. When we had one-on-one together, he said he began to suspect when in 2019 that we went out for a protest. I was among the people that went out for a protest. And a call came into the synagogue that look into your television. The crazy Bisola is on TV. He said, J0SHUA said again, and the boy said he was the one that take the phone to him. And he wondered, is it the same Bisola you told us that is dead? Yes, you already told us Bisola is dead. And that arose his curiosity. So anytime he followed him to the mountain and is left there, do you know what this boy usually do? He will go on the net to be searching for Bisola Johnson. And he began to listen to what I was saying, and everything I said match up with what they were living.
Let me tell you something at this point, and this will also help a lot of us who are out there fighting this battle, because it's a battle. It's a battle.
Yes,
We can't give up. You see,
it is.
I was in a conversation with one of these see, I don't have any respect for these crazy men of God who have turned the gospel upside down and who are committing atrocities. So I was on the phone with one of them, he was threatening me. We were back and forth with each other. I just said, "Are you not the one that said this? Are you not the one that said this? You even said this the other day." That shows me that they watch our videos. They will give them sleepless nights. When everybody's got, they go to their phone, they open it, they follow us, they hear what we say about them. So I don't want anybody out there who is talking, who is confronting these people. Don't you ever give up. When they come and say, I will not dignify them with an answer or a reply. It's a lie. That one is English. You are giving them sleepless night. Now, Bisola, there's a lot we're going to talk about today, but please, I was so touched with the story of Ajoke. I know you told me so many things. You must have even talked about that Ajoke, but I didn't even remember. That documentary made me realize, oh my God, what about this girl? And I spoke to Solomon before I talked back to you, and I saw that Solomon did a video about her. And a lot of people are really concerned about that TB Joshua's daughter that he nearly killed. Tell us about her. What's her situation right now? What's happening with her? Please, a lot of people want to know.
As we are coming in now, though I've called her earlier because I promised to speak to her today, but she didn't pick. So why I was just about to connect, she was calling and said, no, till evening. Ajoke happened to be a girl that I will want to call a daughter, because I know her from the baby when she was dropped in the synagogue. So, lots of children.
No, sorry, please. You knew her from when she was dropped in the synagogue. Can you tell us what's the story surrounding that? How was she dropped? What happened?
It was a service day. It was a service day. People were, after service, everybody going. Then the security came that a baby is in the auditorium. Because I was part of the media, everything, TB Joshua prioritized, coverage than any other thing. So, we already gone to the auditorium in order to see what was happening. So is this a, tiny baby? Yeah. So by the time he came, he said they should bring the baby. So they brought the baby, and usually that happens once in a while in Swan. And anytime that happened, he will say they should take the baby to the police station or motherless baby home. But this particular one, the security Anieke was suggesting that should we? He said no. Call me Mama Bosse. Mama Bosse happened to be one of the women at the back of synagogue. You understand that they just living there. They were, somehow related to TB Joshua. So he said, call me Mama Bosse. And they gave the baby to her. Say, take care of this baby. Her name is Ajoke. All of us will take care of her. And yes, when she started walking, she always walked into TB Joshua's office, and he loved her too much. Yes, he loved her too much. Even when he doesn't, it's like he missed her. He will just open his other door down so that she can just come in. And then Ajoke will be the first person TB Joshua named prophetess. I remember anytime he's going for evening prayer for men or so women who are looking for fruit of the womb, he carries Ajoke along. He said, prophetess is coming to pray for you. So Ajoke started growing, and it come to a time, TB Joshua called Evelyn and said, take care of this lady. Because at that time, Mama Bosse has already left the environment. So Ajoke was retained. So say, yeah, Mama, yeah, Sarah, take care of this girl. So the girl was living with Evelyn as one of our children. She went to the same school, Abiola Nursery and Primary School, with Sarah. After she finished primary, secondary school, she went to British school in Lome. If you hear addiction,
yeah.
Yeah. Until it come to a time, she started growing until she come to a time. Yeah, you will see some traits from children that are, young, growing children. It could be stubbornness. It could be, you understand? So, and the one thing TB Joshua hates most is somebody to challenge him or to tell him the truth to his face. So everybody in Squan, they usually lie to him. After service, he will come in and say, how was the message? We all know that he vomited rubbish. We just say, the message was wonderful. To the point that there was one day, I think it was TD Jakes that was preaching, and TD Jakes was using some quotes from what we have heard TB Joshua saying. They will say, Daddy, these people have been stealing your message, not knowing that it was TB Joshua stealing their messages. Because Olamide Big usually help him to transcribe all the tele-evangelist messages that he usually read. It's all right. Anybody can.
Sure.
Yeah, it's all right. But he made their quotes to be his own. And he made, his disciples to be reading it. Then it happened that when, Ajoke, at a time, Evelyn was not living in the synagogue with the disciples. She was living somewhere else in Ikeja, then later another place. Then it happened that after synagogue was built to that standard, she was given an apartment, not inside TB Joshua's, apartment, another apartment, another floor. Ajoke was with Evelyn. And why Ajoke is a kind of free spirit girl, unlike Sarah, that Sarah is reserved. So Ajoke usually go to the Sunday school to play with the youth. You understand? And everybody knows, Ajoke, that is, it happened that possibly why she was mingling with these youths. Some of them, they were telling Ajoke some things TB Joshua usually do to them. Children of 14 years, 15 years. So, this give us some kind of, unrest sort of. And, she started dropping some messages before him. And that made her to be taken away from Yasera's apartment into disciples' quarters. She now became a disciple. She was bearing Ajoke Joshua. You understand?
Let me clear something here, because you know me, I shoot straight. I don't like.
I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
I'm going somewhere. So, she joined the disciples, and it's like the gap has been,
bridged. Huh?
Yes. So it happened one day, before God, before man. Ajoke may not know this. There was trouble in the security department. And myself, if there are 10 cases in synagogue, TB Joshua will call me for 8. There are certain names that usually come out of his mouth to go and settle some matters. If your name is not among the first 5, you are just in the synagogue for nothing. So I was called with Mrs. Adebayo, the Mr. Adebayo who is in charge of accounts. So he said we should go and see. They said there is a woman making trouble there. And we went there and we saw this woman. So the security was saying that she want to force herself inside the church. And today is not service day. Madam, what happened? She said she wants to come and see her daughter. Who is your daughter here? Can't you explain yourself properly? She said, Ajoke. We look at herself. Ajoke, where were you all these years? She said she always see, visit Sunday school to see her, monitoring her. But lately, she's not seeing her. That is why she came to check on her. If TB Joshua sent 2 or 3 people somewhere, you will see that one of them will just disappear because they quickly want to go and inform him so that he can direct the affair. You can't do, everybody in synagogue was moron under TB Joshua. You don't use your brain. So I quickly entered. He said we should take her to Presidential Lodge. Yes. She said we should take her to Presidential Lodge. So we took her to Presidential Lodge and we sat her down, myself and Mr. Adebayo. So we should interview her. So we asked her, Mama, all these years, where were you? She said she has been seeing her, but lately she has not seen her. That's why she came. Where is your husband? Why do you abandon this lady? He said the father said they should. The father threatening her to leave his child in the church. Who is the father? He said, Daddy. Who is Daddy? Prophet.
Stop. Is he another? Stop. Let me tell you. If you see, I just put something on the screen there. Yes. Adeba CTV, you said she's not the biological daughter.
You don't live with us.
No. So that's why I had to. Okay. It's good you're telling us what you're telling us because, people don't understand. Some of us have been in this thing for such a very long time. We don't beat about it. We don't just talk.
No.
So you're hearing from Bisola, Bisola is not that they told her. She's saying she saw. She's the one that went and took the message. So I hope those of us who are listening, you're taking what we're doing seriously. We're not just talking because we just want to talk on YouTube. This is real experience, lived experience that you're hearing. Continue, Bisola.
So she said, Daddy, we want to be sure. He said, which daddy? He said, Prophet Joshua. That one passed our level. So we asked her to sit. We have already, given her some drinks. So we went to TB Joshua's office. And TB Joshua is a kind of person that you can't just tell him the whole truth straight. So when we got to him, we said we realized, it was Mr. Adebayo that led. He said, we realized that the woman has mental problem. TB Joshua looked at me. He knows me. He said, Bisola, what did she say? He said, she said you are her father.
You are the father of her baby.
Okay. So TB Joshua wrote some money. He usually writes money in paper. He usually don't touch money. He writes the money, certain amount of money in paper. Gave it to Mr. Adebayo. He said, give it to her. Call me Anieke. What he discussed with Anieke, I don't know. You understand? I only say what I said, no, because one day I will face God. What he discussed with Aneke, I don't know. But myself and Mr. Adebayo, we took the money envelope, we gave it to her, and we escort her to. We didn't bring Ajoke to her, but we talked to her that maybe she should come back, or wherever she has been seeing her daughter, she should go on. And Aneke took it from there. But later in years, I understand that the instruction given to Aneke, I can't say it online.
Why? No, you must say it too. Unless we know the height. What? Why? Say it, please. If you're going to die tomorrow. Do you know if I'm going to die tomorrow? We have a chance. Say it.
I understand that the instruction
unless
given
it's not the
to
truth.
Aneke,
Bisola, unless it's not the truth.
Aneke used to be a police, all the security outfit there, former policemen, make her to disappear.
Is that woman late now?
I don't know. We don't see her since then again.
And Ajoke is not in contact with her.
Before God, before man, no. All she know in her life was J0SHUA. Let's even assume that it may not be the biological, but opening her eyes in life is him that she knows. Even if you put the pictures together, I'm doing something now, putting the pictures together, you can see the forehead, even the eyeballs. And it comes to a time that she had to even voice out to confront him. Everybody knows, daddy's child, even Sarah, all of them, they move together, they go to school together. We usually go to Lome to go and see them in school. You understand? No other disciples, no matter how he loved them, no matter how he raised them, joined this team. Even there was one girl, an half-caste, Josephine. J0SHUA like her, but bed-like. And he even promised the girl, you'll be my daughter, but she never made it. You understand? So then it comes to a time that Ajoke had to go and really confront him. That you are sleeping with these children. And that was our undoing. There was a time J0SHUA said after Ajoke left Yasera, he said, Ajoke should be following me everywhere I go. I remember there was one day, myself and late Samson, he said we should go somewhere in ShopRite. Ajoke was with us. So because she was following me. So, and because, when we were going, it was Samson who was the first person who said it in the car that day, that everybody should go and relax. So that where they lock everybody up, the key has been thrown somewhere. That was the day I started thinking, how can they lock me up? You understand? And unfortunately, that man died because he saw something. He walked into J0SHUA's bedroom and saw him with a girl making up. You understand?
Yeah.
And the girl, the man, Samson, came from his own town. Even when Samson died, it almost became a problem. And when Samson died, in synagogue, they have to go and buy eye blood medication and diabetic medication, and they buried it inside Samson's luggage, so that when his people came, somebody now came and said, excuse me, sir, this is what I found in his. So Samson has been sick and, keeping all these things secretly. That was how he was justified in his village at that time. And he was the one that buried those things inside Samson.
But what killed Samson?
He just slumped and died.
Okay, see, there's so much to be exposed to. There's something I want to show people. Let me show people this and then we'll come back to it, because some people are saying that, oh, why is it now that somebody is dead? Then they are now beginning to talk about it. Why didn't you talk about it since? People don't know how far back you've been exposing
I sent
all of.
you a video.
Okay,
Somebody send it to me.
okay, I'll go to the video, but let me share this with people. Guys, this was, even on this station, apart from what Bisola has been talking, this is me interviewing Bisola. This is 4 years ago. 4 years ago. If you listen to what she was saying, the same thing that you saw in the video, it's a 53 minutes video, but even if I play it a little bit, okay, listen.
But unfortunately, when I got there, there was no light in that room, I remember. So I thought maybe Nigerian thing. Before I left studio to that place, possibly NEPA has taken life. But we had a candle light. Coming into such environment, I didn't see clearly. So I knelt down by the door. Then he now said I should come nearer to him. On getting used to the room, I saw that the door was shifted and his mouth was, open. So I didn't want to embarrass him because I thought maybe it was unintentional. So I stayed where I was and bent my head down in order not to embarrass him. But he now stretched out. He now reached out to me and dragged my hand and placed my hand on what I was hearing and was using it to rub it. Say, I shouldn't worry, still saying the same thing. Don't worry, you are here. I'm everything to you.
This was 4 years ago. So this is not be today matter. And this is, Sola has been doing this. This is at the point where I met her. So she's been doing this for so many years. The video you sent me, let me also show you people. This was Bisola out in the street, and in spite of all the danger and everything, let me share that video. In spite of all the danger, she was still able to hold on. Okay, I'm gonna share this so you guys see. And then this is the video you sent to me. We're gonna come back to talking about this, but this is just because some of you are just getting to know this story because you saw the BBC documentary. But what we're doing is, it's just like you guys woke us back, you woke us up again. We're just trying to, this one is just a catalyst. It's just like small scratch. The wound, the real wound, those of you don't know about the real wound. There was bandage, like you people covered it with bandage. Somebody now came and opened it a little bit, and you're like, something is smelling. No, we're telling you that the wound is rotten. There are people who know about the wound since. But let me play this video for you. Where is it? Let me expand this.
Sexually molested by J0SHUA. Okay. I was trapped in the synagogue for 14 years of my life. I spent my youth in the synagogue until God set me free. If not for God, I would not be here today. Okay. And I've documented it in a book form. Okay. Not the time to dress up. This is the time to address. Yes. And I'm also talking on behalf of other young girls that are still in captivity of J0SHUA. 8 years old, 14 years old, 11 years old. Yes, I'm saying it. 11 years old are still there because they have money, because they have fame, because they have connection. They can put people down.
Okay, so let me start.
Femi Fanikayode has said to me that he will make me to disappear.
Okay, so just tell us that video. Where was that video happening, and where were you looking at? It looked like some people were trying to talk to you.
Okay, it happened that, after the experience, I can't be telling you all the experiences. And after I came out of the wood, because there was life after I left synagogue. Yes, it happened that, even after I left synagogue, I was jobless. You understand, after you have left circulation for that long, you don't even know the direction. You don't have certificates, and, to work again, that certificate of 14 years must have, life has passed. Even there was a time TB Joshua sent Prince Awofisayo to me, offering me 10 million naira, that I said no. I'm not giving up on this my crusade. So life was really hard for many years. Then afterwards, I started getting out of the wood. Then I began to be a prayer warrior, praying for those people under captivity to be set free. I became a voice. You understand? Then I became an activist. Anything that happened to people that related with what I went through, it was a no-no or a zero tolerance for rape, even in a place called church. So when a lady came out and said a pastor raped her, this is one time I was beaten on the streets. I was drenched in my own blood. So there was a time I couldn't even go out openly. I was always in that Muslim thing.
Hijab.
Hijab. So, I became an activist when the lady said somebody, Fato Yimbo raped her, and they were doing a protest, even though nobody supported me, but me, I started supporting issues. You understand? That was that day that I went out. I only had 1,800 naira on me. I'm telling you, in my own account, in heaven and on earth. So, but I still find myself there. And I took some of my books along in order to give people. Somebody recognized my face and said, we've been seeing. I said, well, this is me. And you see how I was looking over my shoulder because security wise. So I started, the person said, tell me about, what happened. That was it. That was Mobolaji,
Bank Anthony way. Okay. See, I put something on the screen there. I don't know. Some random questions will be coming. So the ones that you can help us answer quickly. It says, can you tell us what happened about Mr. Kehinde? Who is Mr. Kehinde?
Before, let me quickly say this. Somebody contacted me and asked me. He said, my brother is about 70 years old now in Kechi. He came from US because he had some issues, and some friends took him to synagogue, and he lived in the synagogue for possibly 20-something years, close to 30 years. Now he has become blinded in the village. Now he is like, he doesn't even know where life is going. He asked me a question. What did they do to you in that squan? So back to Mr. KK. I met KK in Squan. He was the head of the camera department.
That's Kehinde.
Why I manage the studio. I also met Mr. Shegun. I took over from Mr. Shegun because of another story entirely. Then KK, was the one, managing. After some time, things started happening to him. And KK told me, I have KK's number. KK told me that when he left Squan, when I left Squan, TB Joshua gave me 100,000. Though he asked me, to be fair, he said I should come back after 2 weeks to come and tell him what I want to do. But I knew better than that I was not going back. So, because anybody who go back afterwards, get their Waterloo. You understand? So I didn't go back. And KK said when he left, this is KK words, he said he was given 2 million naira. And he used that 2 million naira to purchase some cars, maybe Tokumbo cars.
Yeah.
He said none remain after 3 months. Even he almost died inside one. So KK is somehow, will I say miserable or something? You know, even as I am now, I still, with the little money I have, I'm not saying it's not, I still take care of some of them. Seriously. Even on Saturday, I'm bringing Akewi to my platform to come and beg for him.
Who?
This is Akewi.
Who is Akewi? Who is Akewi?
Akewi is the chief priest of J0SHUA.
Oh, is he the one that was in the mountain?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Anytime, it's only now I'm understanding. When I heard that he went to the mountain, I thought it was a physical mountain. I thought he was going to the hill. I didn't know it was, that guy had class. That kind of luxury place with the water and just like something you find somewhere in the Bahamas.
That's what he always wants for himself.
Wow. I'm sure he took those Oyibo people to that place.
And they pay a lot of money. If you are sick, you enter synagogue, they will enroll you to be partner of Emmanuel TV automatically. So every month you have to you'll be dropping something directly from your bank. So money really entered into Squan.
Okay, before we go forward, and somebody was asking also, he said, what about Sister Josephine? Who is Sister Josephine?
Sister Josephine is, I think I've browsed on her a little bit while I was talking. She's an Afghan girl that J0SHUA arrested. Let me use the word arrested. In the midst of children in the children's school. He was just going on random walk and he saw this beautiful light complexion mulatto about 14 years at the time. And J0SHUA pointed at her that she was a witch. That's his game. That she was a witch. And he's going to destroy the mother and the family. Because the mother was a member of Swan, she was ready to release this witch, this beautiful witch, to the witch doctor to take care. The moment Josephine entered into disciple quarters, people were called in order to manipulate and brainwash her. In the disciple meeting, you will just see somebody standing up. Yes, sir. I want to talk about Josephine. Please don't allow her to go. Because if she live here, she will become a prostitute. All the Afghans I know in my life, they live in hotel. And J0SHUA will just look at her that we are doing you a favor to stay here. So the girl relaxed, and J0SHUA, she had a lot of abortions. Yes, even though she traveled out, constantly. So it happened one day. After I left Squan, I didn't know what happened. I didn't, connive against him. I just saw in newspaper that Josephine's mother was crying to all Nigerians to help her. At that time, Josephine has become maybe 22 or 23. She said she went to meet J0SHUA that your children are going to school. Release my child so that she can go to school. And she said J0SHUA looked at her and said, over my dead body. So please, Nigerians, they only wrote it in newspaper and everybody heard the story and said, nah, wow, nobody helped her. And people just advise her. Assuming Josephine was still underage, you could have gone to Israeli embassy. Possibly they will help you. But she has become a matured. They will say she has a voice. And I have a journalist that TB Joshua, that was among those people TB Joshua usually use at that time. You know, when that entered into the media, into the mainstream media, TB Joshua called his own journalist that eat crumbs under his table and said, interview Josephine. And they coached Josephine on what to do, what to say against her mother. And that was what she said, and they wrote it in newspaper in order to counter it. So Josephine stayed in synagogue for some time. But I heard the story that they went to one country, one of those Caribbean countries, that the moment they landed in Lagos, Nigeria, Josephine took Uber and ran away. Since then, yes, because she cannot confront him with Joshua. Nobody in synagogue can say, I know I left synagogue. Nobody can go to him in his office and say, I want to go home. You have no two heads. So she took Uber while everybody was carrying their luggage, and she took Uber and ran. And since then, she has disappeared into thin air. I've tried to reach her, but I've not been able. Possibly.
All right. Thank you so much. I mean, you know me, I had a plan for this program, but I like things to just go according to the leading of God or the Holy Spirit, and it's been going on so well. I really want to thank you. Now, talking about journalists and people that TB Joshua pays, you know, the synagogue, for the information of our viewers and our listeners, the synagogue church has come out with a statement. They released a statement about the BBC interview, and I'd like to share it with all of us. And I want us to talk a little bit about it. Have you seen the release?
No, not at all.
Okay, so I know they just released it a couple of hours ago. So this is what they have released. Let me share this with all of you. They are very predictable, but it's okay. We're expecting it. So they didn't. If you remember in the documentary, BBC said they reached out to the church, and the church told them, this is unfounded, blah blah. Maybe the church did not know how far the BBC documentary had gone. They didn't know how much investigation had been done. And yes, Stabisola, remind us how far ago they started this, and when they even did this interview, because some people think they quickly ran and did the interview after TB Joshua died. When did they start their thing?
They started this over 2 years ago.
Okay.
And after they have gone to different countries in order to interview different, they were approached. It's not that BBC just want to, find faults.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? They were approached by some white ladies that this is our experience. And we feel so bad that as European, this could happen to us. So BBC in their own way began, doing searchlight. You understand? They don't want to take their word for it. Are there any other people who have the same experience?
Yeah, that's what you do as a journalist.
Yes, they started investigating. And while they were investigating, I think they stumbled on my works over the years. And I was contacted in 2021.
Okay.
That,
no, listen.
Okay, this is what we had. Will you make yourself available? Because we see that this cannot be really, concluded without your input, because we saw that you have been talking over years. So, I went to their office in Nigeria and in their studio, and I did what I have to do.
Okay.
And
Now,
I spent some time there. Do you know? Let me say this. Do you know that after I left their office, something is hanging? Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
After I left their office 8 p.m. And after I left their office, do you know that I slept on the street? I couldn't go home. I couldn't ask them I didn't even want to ask anybody for help, maybe money or for hotel, because it's my word, and I don't want any gratification from it. You understand? After I left their office, as I came downstairs, I slept on the streets of Ikoyi till morning before I could go home. I couldn't go home.
It's okay. It's okay. Bisola, let's move on. Now, guys, the one I wanted us to tackle here is somebody was actually saying, let's touch that quickly. Somebody saying, oh, about the BCC thing, J0SHUA said Bisola that she was coordinator of international visitors, and later she said she was synagogue editor, blah blah blah. I don't see. You have to go back and watch the videos of. You can't get all the answers here.
Go my book.
Go and read our book. Yes.
I was a person of many parts.
Don't worry, Bisola. Don't give all the answers here now. It's okay. If you want to know,
J0SHUA do not mention your name among 5 names that will come out of his mouth.
Don't
you
worry.
Are nobody in squad.
Don't worry. See, Life Minds, go and read her book. Go and subscribe to her channel.
Over on synagogue videos for many years. I did it.
It's okay, Bisola. Please go and subscribe to her channel, read her books, and you will get to know the different parts that she played in that church. She was there before all these white people. She was the one that was coaching these white people. She was the one coordinating them when they came. Do you understand?
Because what J0SHUA will want.
Okay, so let us go and read their statement. So as the synagogue released statement on BBC's revelation about late J0SHUA's church. This is the full text, and this is from Nigerian News. It says that synagogue church responded controversial, blah blah blah. In a statement signed by Dare, they faulted the broadcasting station and the document, describing it as baseless and highlighting that the individuals interviewed in the report were not affiliated with the church. Let us start with so they said that's the number one thing. They said all the people. See that's the moral. That's the thing that makes me. We are the ones that make ourselves look like morons to people outside. Here we are watching a documentary and seeing people, not one, not two. If it was only Nigerians, you say Nigerians, but this Nigeria, Oyibo people. Okay, if it was only people
in the synagogue doing what?
Do you understand? Okay, there's one thing that happened to J0SHUA that he doesn't understand. J0SHUA loved documenting. That documentation is the thing that is finally killing him, because everything was documented. All these ladies that were there are documentaries of when they say they were the ones that were teaching. They were the ones that were doing video. We saw them saying that today we are in synagogue church. The video is there. And you come and you say in your statement that those people are not affiliated to the church. That already invalidates any other thing you're going to say. And the funny thing,
Dr. Chidi,
people are still defending them up till now.
Dr. Chidi, when it was about 3 days, the documentary will be released, I began to engage God. I said, this is not vindicative. All we want is for people to learn lesson, because if you are not a student of history, there's tendency for you to repeat evil of yesterday and forget good of yesterday. God told the Israelites particularly, Do not forget your experience in Egypt and how I release you with mighty hand. Be that as it may, Father, all the victims, over the years, I'm no more victims, I'm no more a victim. I've already grown over. Help the victims to forgive their past, not for TB Joshua, but for themselves, so that they can move on in life. And I pray another prayer that God is yet to answer, that the synagogue, Evelyn and her children, I pray that they will come forward and said, forgive our father. You don't need to go into details. We understand. Forgive our father. How he offended you. We are really sorry. That would go a long way to help the victims. You understand? But for you to be coming out with this kind of charades, it's wrong.
You know what? Let me also do what I normally do. For those of you who, because I've started seeing some of you, they've shared the video and they've come here right now. Those of you who are here on behalf of the synagogue church to defend them, I see you asking the questions. You're all welcome. May God be with you. We like when people like you come. Please remember to go and buy Bisola's book so that you can have more things to counter. Subscribe to her channel. Share. In fact, the only way, let me tell you, the only way you can castigate her, the only way you can destroy her ministry. Oh yeah, just come close. This is only between me and you people that are here now. Please, every other person, keep quiet. I'm just talking to our visitors. Take her video, share it in the church platform. Let everybody subscribe so that you people can go there and castigate. That's the only way to kill her ministry. Just do it. Don't just share it. Share and then buy the book. Buy copies of the book. Share it. Let people read. Buy it on Amazon so that let your department of whatever, let them one by one dissect the book, then so they can publish another one to counter her. If you don't spread it, how will people know? So make sure everybody subscribe. I think that this is just free advice I'm giving to you people. That way we can bring her down. All right. So again, let's go back to that statement. So you guys can see how smart they are. They say the people are not connected to the church. Where is it? I was even showing the thing, the statement. Here. Okay. So here they now continue. They say that Nigerian news. That's my problem. You see, Nigerian news now is holding an opinion. I thought Nigerian news was going to just publish what they say. Nigerian news understands that the church's intention in issuing the statement was to clarify any misconceptions that may have arisen from the documentary, which has generated mixed reactions in the Christendom among concerned Nigerians and authorities. They understand. Okay, just put the statement and leave it there. It said it's worth noting that the BBC documentary, which was released on Monday, made news headlines with serious allegations against TB Joshua, including accusation of rape by some members. However, Squan, whatever, they said BBC World News Investigative Unit condemned Africa Eye, codenamed Africa Eye, came out this week with weird and strange episodes of atrocities against the late founder of Squan. What is this? Is this Squan or Sean, or call it again? Squan. Okay, Squan. Okay. The church
formulated that.
Okay, Squan. Okay. The church emphasized that the investigation was carried out in a manner that deviated from the ethical and foundational principles of journalism profession. Ethical and foundational principles of journalism profession. They took their time. They investigated a case. They reached out to you. These are the tenets of journalism. You try to
they reached out to them. They were arrested.
Exactly.
They were shot at.
Okay. So
the security of synagogue shot at them. They were arrested in the Khartoum police station.
Okay.
They started asking people to release them.
Okay. So you see, You see, so the synagogue actually saw BBC doing their investigation. They arrested, some of you didn't know this, they arrested, let me put us up so that people will understand what we're saying. The church is lying from their teeth. First of all, in that documentary, BBC said, we contacted do you think this is one backyard news agency? This is BBC. Somebody said BBC has too much credibility. Okay, so you can't dismiss what they are saying. They took their time. Since how many years? It's taking them close to 3 years to do that documentary. They took their time. They went from country to country, investigating, asking questions, and they reached out to you. You ignored them.
They reached out to me personally. They wrote her email. They went to her. That's okay. If you are a victim, can you tell your own story? She threatened them.
Okay. All right. So now, after all that, you actually saw them. So it's not like they secretly did it. You arrested them. You took them to the police station. These are records that are existing. Yet, you just think that if you come and publish this kind of thing, we will just swallow it and then life goes on. Honestly speaking, if Nigeria was a serious country, some of these churches would have been destroyed right now. But let it not be from me that you heard it. Don't go and destroy any church and say, allegedly, they allegedly destroyed. That's how you say something. Anyway, on a serious note, I have someone in the studio joining us. This is becoming a very interesting party today. Please welcome all the way from Zimbabwe or UK. I don't know where he is right now, but I have Simbo Chikanza here. Simbo, how are you?
Wow. Hey, Bisola, well done.
How you doing?
Well done. You've done well. You have sustained the heat, the pressure over the years.
Yeah, Simba, now that we have you, give us another dimension to this story, because most of us here have been talking about the Nigerian dimension, but people, let me tell you, let me reveal this to you. We were contending with what TB Joshua was doing in Nigeria, and that is where we missed it. We thought he was just as big as Nigeria as a country. We did not understand that he had already gone global, and his influence and impact was being felt all across the world. So much so that you, that was out of Nigeria, Zimbabwe, UK, other places around the world, and you've done, just before you came, somebody was trying to, the church came out with a statement and they were trying to school us about journalism, but I know you practice journalism on a very advanced level. Oh, sorry, I hope, you practice journalism on an advanced level. You are a consultant, or you have done things for Al Jazeera, so that shows the level of your practice of journalism. Tell us about TB Joshua, what you know about him, your contact with him, or the cases involving TB Joshua outside of what people know in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you, Chidi. I don't know how far our audience is here, but I will. Thank you for introducing me here. I have a background that is professional, because I had no personal interests or engagements with TB Joshua at all. And as an investigative journalist, my origins with TB Joshua dates back to 2012, when he announced a prophecy that he was saying he is predicting the death of an African president. And a statement that made him popular. I mean, it created so much revenue and attraction all over Africa and beyond. And being someone who has investigated religious things or religious events for quite a while, and that called for me to want to understand, is this man speaking truly by God, or there's something else? So those are my beginnings of my interactions with him. Fast forwards to 2015, Chidi. In 2014 or 2015, it was. The building collapsed. And when the building collapsed, I started noticing a pattern of publishing falsehoods that was so clear because I was monitoring. You see, there was a lot of alarm around who did this? Why did this happen? Why did this happen at the church, of all places? But TB Joshua's role in falsifying the findings of professionals, but not just that, in fighting the rescuers and also falsifying the health and safety of the victims of the collapse, which was very clear because I could see it, number one, in the emails. There were statements in the emails to say that people are coming out alive. I still have those emails. The people are coming out alive. Don't listen to the news. And so all that, putting all that together, and then a series of women talking and revealing harrowing accounts of sexual assault. And from where I come from in Zimbabwe, TB Joshua's mentee or associate, Walter Magaya, had his list of women. So it is from those women's accounts that I started linking up with Bisola Johnson's encounters. Because up to that time, for over 5-6 years, I struggled to follow Bisola because of negativity. People in the Christian community were spreading negative statements and pictures around, how Bisola was caricatured. So, because I could relate to our own women, from ladies from our community who were raped, and one of them was killed by Walter Magaya. And then that has started making me to want to probe, to understand who exactly TB Joshua was. So I started going through prophecies. I would spend days. I would wake up in the morning. If he says something on a Sunday, I would want to follow it up, study everything that his SCS said. If he says it's going to happen after 2 weeks, I would be there waiting. I would deploy my own staff to follow every word, trace everything, fact check everything. By 2016, 2017, I was convinced that TB Joshua is a curse, not just to Africa, but to the world. I had the physical evidence. And I then discovered a pattern across Africa of prophets who use the Bible, and they use fear. They use the fear of death, the fear of loss. They also use the fear of curses to promote their religion, to make themselves appear as if they are closer to the Almighty. What was the greatest scare in my work was the affinity of these religious dictators or religious crooks to the political leaders of various African countries. I mean, when I discovered that, Chidi, my blood shot up. I decided to invest money. I invested a lot of money, not small money here. I invested resources to want to study not just TB Joshua, but various. And I discovered that these people are terrorists. These are real terrorists. They're engaged in money laundering. And by that time, in 2015, I'd also started investigating Hubert Angel, another acquaintance, another who was called Hubert Angel. An investigation that eventually led to the Gold Mafia documentary. If you haven't watched the Gold Mafia documentary and you're watching the stream, go on the Al Jazeera YouTube account. Part 1 up to 4. That investigation took 7 years. And during this 7 years, there were attempts to kill me multiple times. Hubert Angel used to send people, one time used to send relatives. One of the messages that I even intercepted, and I still have it, I wish I could bring it up here, of him sending a relative to go and sleep in my house and spend days, weeks. I could have died during this period. This documentary by Al Jazeera is important because you will understand when you watch it, and then you also watch the TB Joshua one, The Disciples by the BBC. You will then obtain what we are talking about here, which is the reality of how these prophetic whatever, these preachers are the greatest, perhaps the greatest criminals on earth right now. At one time, when I presented these findings, and by the way, the Asian man that you saw just now, there's an Asian man, his name is Kamlesh Patni. Kamlesh Patni is a Kenyan Indian who destroyed Kenya's economy in the early 90s, stealing money. That Indian man that you're seeing there, that Indian man here, right? This man here is a Kenyan Indian who stole money. He was stealing money from the Central Bank of Kenya from the 1990. And that same money that you'd steal, you would then lie, you would create invoices at the central bank and then claim that he is engaging in gold trade, that he's supplying gold, when all he was doing was smuggling gold from the DRC and appears as if he's doing some sort of trade when there was absolutely nothing. The man was actually stealing money, and that money that he was stealing, he was then use it to fund the dictatorship. He would sustain the dictatorship of Daniel Arap Moi and various other dictators. But I'll tell you what, Kamlesh Patni, guess what his title is today, Chidi? He's called Pastor Paul. He's Christian Pastor Paul. When you're watching the Gold Mafia documentary, see him screaming, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Thief, controlling various African countries. A thief.
Oh, Simba, you see, this whole thing is funny because when some people hear us talk like this, they are scared, not for themselves, they are scared for us. They think God is going to strike us. They think we're not going to wake up tomorrow morning. But we're able to talk like because we are liberated. We are actually liberated. We are free. That's why we can talk and laugh about this thing. You know, we are free. There is I finish and I go.
Oh, you know, Chidi, mankind is made in the image of the Creator.
Yeah.
People don't know that. The moment you wake up in the morning, before you don't need to read your Bible. You don't need to open a prayer. You don't need to fast.
Or you should read the
Bible. For you to be special. For you to be special. You're special already. You're powerful already.
You have to understand what he's saying. Look, let me tell you something. We, just like the Bible says, when it's talking about the Pharisees, that these people, they put a burden on you that they themselves cannot even carry. Some pastors come and give you set of rules. You must do this. You must do this. You must do that. And then later on, they go, look at I've not delved into that case, but look at what TD Jakes is battling with right now. the things they go and do are the same things they tell you you cannot do. They are not able to sustain those things. So I'm a pastor, I'm a trained pastor, but I'm able to live the way I am. It's lighter because I'm not carrying any burdens. I'm not going about life. Life is meant to be lived and enjoyed. God has already created you with. Why are you putting yourself with so much dogma, so much religion, so much doctrine, indoctrination that you can't even enjoy life again? You wake up in the morning, somebody put something in your house, they put something on your ceiling, they are holding your destiny. You have to pray against demon in the water, demon in the air, demon in the sea, demon in the chair. That is a life of misery. Like you can't listen to music, you can't watch this, you can't talk like this. Your friends, it's too much. And yet you were created, like he said now, in the image of God. God has given you this life to enjoy. Look at the men of God who tie these ropes on you. When they expose them, do you see what the story is about? Do you see what the controversy is about? How many women they slept with? The traveling up and down in private jet. The same people they tell you not to meet, they are going to meet them and they are paying them monies. They are paying the same people. They come and tell you they are evil. They have bought all the politicians. They buy the women that these politicians sleep with. They pay for the hotels. They pay for them to be taken care of. And yet they sleep with the pro. Come on. See, why are people blinded? And people are right here on this platform defending and asking questions and still saying that I give up. I don't even know. I don't know anymore. Anyway, let's go back to their statement. Zimba, the church released a statement. We were reviewing that statement. First of all, they said BBC did not abide by any journalism thing. They didn't do the investigation. We've treated that. Now, it now says that the statement added, BBC has compromised these lofty principles by descending into fictional narratives and propaganda, thus turning itself into a weapon for a hatchet job as gangsters in the garb of journalism with a destructive authorial motive for personal gains against a perceived enemy. Please, gentleman and lady, can you help me understand how J0SHUA is a personal enemy and why this documentary is like a gangster thing targeted against the church? How and that the stories are fictional? When please, has English language changed? I thought fiction is when someone manufactures something, manufactures the characters. But when you have the characters speaking, when we have a lived experience right here in front of us, a lived experience speaking, when we have people like Simba who have investigated this thing, has evidence, took their time, 8+ years. Is this story still fictional? Please, you guys help me understand.
Well, you see, I would like to have that statement, please. I wanted to say I will send it to you.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you very much. The depth of, okay, I'll speak for us Zimbabweans. How many Zimbabweans are on this stream? If you're here, Zimbabweans and South Africans, okay? The death of over 100 Zimbabweans and South Africans. By the way, there were 116. Most of them were Zimbabweans and South Africans. Was that fictional?
Okay.
Yeah. Was that?
I was even going to come to that. There's so much to talk about this thing. The fact that J0SHUA and the guy who was one of the what do you call them, Bisola, the fifth floor people.
Yes.
5-story
boys.
The what story?
5-story boys.
5-story boys. One of the 5-story boys, one of the aides of J0SHUA. He said in that, because I watched the whole documentary yesterday, I took my time and I watched it. One of them said that when this thing happened, he ran to J0SHUA. Everybody was confused. Everybody in the midst of that confusion, J0SHUA was intact. He wasn't moved. He told him, grab your camera, go there. And when he didn't say call an ambulance, let's talk about saving. He said grab your camera, go there. The boy grabbed his camera. He went inside there, and he said he could see people. He could hear them calling, and their voices were going down, and they were dying. Pretty much like what we heard about when there was 9/11. You know, and all of these people, when rescue people, there was video footage of that. When the rescue emergency agency, Nigerian emergency agency, came to the gate, they came on time to come and rescue people. This guy was after protecting himself, and he stopped them from coming in.
Yes, they lock it.
What I think, I wish I have a little, but I don't know how to say this. I have a little problem with God. I don't know why God just kills people and they die. I don't think it's fair. Because
you remember the time we did true tributes for these people. I think we were
yeah. We did a tribute for exactly. But I don't think TB Joshua should just die. Do you understand? Because if you cheat, he just dies. And I'm thinking, why? No, not people. He should die slowly. Because of all those people that died in that place, and he was the cause because he kept telling them to keep on increasing that the height of that building. And then a lot of people, Bisola, you know this very well. People who were sick.
Let me tell you.
And he confirmed that these people were sick, and he was giving them water, and they died.
People don't know. That is part of synagogue cover-up. TB Joshua.
Oh, I think we're losing Bisola now because of the network. We're losing Bisola because of the network. So Simba, I sent you the link. I sent you the link to the
every
week.
Okay,
thank you. Thank you, Chidi.
Okay, Bisola, are you back? I think you're having issues with your.
Yeah.
Okay, you're back now. Go ahead.
Yes, TB Joshua died slowly. I had that intel. People from inside, they give me information. Mm-hmm. Every week, there's no week TB Joshua was not flown on emergency out of Nigeria to Turkey.
Really?
Yes, he will collapse and faint.
So he was already sick.
He was already sick, like 2 years.
I couldn't heal himself.
They could, which healing? Even what about some of his disciples that died inside the collapse? Some of his disciples that break bones.
You know that in that documentary, that guy said something that was chilling. He said he actually saw somebody being brought out, and they used a chainsaw to cut off this person's leg.
And when they saw the dangling leg, they had to run to TB Joshua. What should we do? Cut it off.
I have someone visiting us. Comfort on the Bisola, you want to introduce Comfort?
Yeah, I don't know Comfort. Don't know.
Okay, sorry, Comfort.
Bisola, you should know Comfort. And you know what? I wanted to say quickly.
Okay, Comfort, can you turn on your camera, please?
Comfort is an important, a crucial important person in these investigations from the Southern African side.
Awesome.
And why I'm saying so is, you see, to those people who are criticizing the BBC and they're saying the BBC delayed, releasing this documentary, and they are not being professional by throwing a documentary out there at a time when TB Joshua cannot defend himself. Those people are not aware of journalists like myself who actually confronted TB Joshua, not once, right? While he was alive.
Sorry, Simba. Comfort, can you turn, if you can hear us, Comfort, can you turn on your camera? It came on before and then it went off. Comfort, if you're able to turn on your camera, I'll bring you back in. Go ahead, Simba.
So Comfort comes in here because Comfort, as a women's rights director and campaigner and activist and expert here, she is one of those researchers who came in from around 2021. And the agenda was to connect the victims of this syndicate in Southern Africa with Bisola and various other victims, so that this story does not, it does not get that. Excuse me, let me use this term here. This story is not treated in isolation. We have the problem being investigated thoroughly. And why I'm hoping maybe when she comes back here, why people like her are important is that, you see, the victims of TB Joshua are not only those that he physically raped, they're also those who he oppressed so that they can be raped.
That's right.
And
Exactly.
and we have some that he actually ensnared as far as Zimbabwe, South Africa.
So Simba,
So
this is I don't want to lose this line of thought. You see, that's one thing people don't understand. We live in a society that thinks that, oh, TB Joshua is dead, is gone. Let's just move on. No. Or that, why are we still talking about it? No. I want there to be an established case against him, against his estate. Yes, he is dead, but his estate is still there. This estate is still liable for whatever TB Joshua has done. So all the compensation that is supposed to be, the entitlement of all those people who were involved, the people that died, the people that were traumatized, all those people that he raped, they all need to be compensated. So I'm looking for something like a class action suit against him, or a follow-up, because I know in documentary there were a family in South Africa whom he offered money to, and they refused, and they sued him to court. I want to see those things brought back. All of those powerful leaders that he bought over with his money, all of them, we need to bring this case back. We can only say that they've gotten justice when these people have gotten justice. This man cannot just die and escape. We need to go and exhume him from the grave to answer his case by continuing with the case against his estate. Welcome.
Absolutely. And you see, we actually have got a group of women down in Southern Africa and Zimbabwe who have won a court case. I think Comfort is going to talk about those women. And they won a court case against TB Joshua's accomplice, Walter Magaya, the very same person that TB Joshua was working with. And he's on recording not once, multiple times. We've got at least, like, online right now, you notice at one time TB Joshua called one of the victims.
Yes.
Who I was interviewing in 2016. And when she was suing Walter Magaya, and TB Joshua tried to cover up that rape, that recording is there. There's another recording again of TB Joshua over 7 minutes calling Walter Magaya to wish him happy birthday and all sorts. And then we also have TB Joshua flying into Zimbabwe and spending time there, days and all sorts. But what people should know, and let me leave for Comfort to talk about here, this story has got currency. This is the best time because they are living victims, not those who are in the category of Bisola, but those who actually can point. Some people are saying TB Joshua is dead. There are some crooks who are still alive. Some of the rapists, TB Joshua was using church money to protect, who are alive right now. Right. So we actually have got complainants, and we've got the rapists who are alive right now. So the flame should actually burn. Comfort, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Chidi. My sister Bisola, I think I don't blame you for forgetting me, but Simba and I, we met on several occasions. And when my little sister yesterday brought the documentary to my attention, I was filled with a lot of emotions. I was filled with a lot of rage, but I was also filled with a lot of gratitude because I wanted to pay gratitude to your to just your strength. A lot of victims would not have the strength to have what you have done from the time that you started talking to Simba, which is way back to the time that people are seeing it on BBC. See, our problem in our community, I'll speak for the African community, we are too quick to criticize before we know the work that's been put on the ground, before we know what is taken for a woman like yourself to come out. People are just very simplistic about it. I, for one, know what is taken. I, for one, work with journalists like Simba Chikanza. That's why I went on my Twitter and I wrote what I wrote about before you start criticizing. I want you to understand the background that Simba has been in the background, and so thank you for bringing this up. In short, I'll just kind of allude to what my brother Simba said. As I said earlier, I was caught with a lot of emotion. A lot of things were triggered for me in good ways. And I hope that a lot of young women are listening. I heard the title Daddy a lot with TB Joshua's victims, Daddy, something that my brother Simba calls daddyism. And again, the people in my community take it very lightly, but that is itself witchcraft when someone starts calling themselves daddy. In the case of TB Joshua, and I'll say Simba, I think we have a handful, more than a handful, more than a dozen. Actually, I think there might be in their hundreds of Zimbabwean victims who are victims of rape of Walter Magaya, who happens to be the late TB Joshua's spiritual son,
Prodigy.
call each
Yeah.
other. And so, although TB Joshua is late, I'll say that his legacy is continuing with some rapists that he has mentored. And so I hope that this case study, this particular documentary, opens up a lot of wounds, but also a lot of canned worms that are supposed to come out, and so we can change this culture of predators who hide behind titles, predators who hide behind clout and algorithms and call themselves daddy, but are at the back abusing girls. And so, Simba, though, I think those are my sentiments, and I just want to say a job well done, to you, Sis Bisola, a job well done to you, Mr. Kanza, and the team behind, and give God praise that He continues to protect you, because it's a whole cabal. This is I'll say here in the US, we are having a lot of names. I'll drop the names because they're already there, but we're having names of men like TD Jakes who are being questioned as well. And so I'll say, if those the names are coming to the front, maybe it's the year for that. It's the year of challenging predators who are causing harm that is almost irreparable. Sentiments for now. And sorry
Yeah.
for time to
Thank
be.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Comfort. What I'm hoping will happen is just like in so many other cases in the past, these guys are not they're not small people. People underestimate the kind of power that they have and the kind of money and influence they command, because for you to be able to fly a private jet, give the amount of money. Do you know the amount of money you would give to a president for the president to endorse you and actually come to your church? So people don't know the amount of wealth these people control. So I am looking for and Simba, this is where people like you would come in. I'm looking forward to an organized approach to this whole thing. It has to be something that we sit down and really plan seriously, because these guys, they have money, they have influence. So if you're going to enter into this kind of fight, you better be ready. So many people are involved, and nobody's too big that they cannot be brought down. And God himself is always watching, and God will stand behind any kind of fight to bring justice to these people. I mean, these guys are just pure criminals. This is not there's nothing spiritual. There's nothing spiritual about you sleeping with underage girls night after night after night, raping them. intimidating them, bullying them. Look at all the stories. This is not a willful. It's not that they submitted willfully. It's not that they went there knowing what they were doing. We saw them talking about being deprived of sleep and all of that, manipulating them. Yes, Sister Bisola, you want to say
One
something?
of the 5-story boys said the day the house collapsed, TB Joshua still had his way with one of the girls, meaning that he didn't even feel any remorse for anybody.
No, I don't.
Can you repeat that, Bisola? You're not clear there. The day?
One of the 5-story boys account, in one of the 5 boys story account, it said the day of the collapse, synagogue collapsed, TB Joshua still had his way with the, is the usual thing he does, sleeping.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it I heard it in that documentary. He said they were surprised that night too, he still did the same ritual. To him, it was a ritual. It was a ritual that he performed. The girls, one of the ladies, would come into his room and then, would have to masturbate him, or he would sleep with that one, and then after that one will go back. Hearing these boys talk, we could confirm some of the suspicions. We had it as suspicions in other stories, but this time around, one of the boys was able to say that they would be locked up in one of the rooms adjacent to his room, or and then one of the nights after they had gone in, turned on the music, they wonder what was going on, and he peeped under the door and was able to see somebody come in there and then kneel down by the end of the chair. This was his own account. Now, when they interviewed one of the ladies, her own account corroborated what the guy was saying, because she said she would come in and they would ask him to close he would ask her to close the door and then walk up to him and then come and kneel beside the couch where he's lying down, and then he would open up himself and tell her to start masturbating him, or the other white girl will talk about how he would embrace her and then use his legs to kind of cross behind her own leg and lower her to the ground, lay on top of her, and then jack off himself. Can you? This is someone in front of the pulpit on a Sunday talking to people. We're not telling the story of one deranged pedophile facing life sentence. We're talking about a daddy, somebody that is in church. I need to finish talking about this, their release, because in their statement they were talking about how such a good person he is, how he's such a good person, and because he's a good person, BBC is ignoring all the good things that he did. And my question is, so you come and you make $100 million, then you bring out something like maybe even $10,000, and you spread it amongst 100 people, giving them small bags of rice, and it's documented, and you're showing it on TV, and people are clapping, and people are giving testimonies of how TB Joshua is a good person. But the other 900 and something is whatever money is kept back, and with that you bought a private jet. With that you are able to silence people. With that you make people disappear. People are killed and buried, and the church is not seeing this. How do you justify it? It's really mind-boggling. It is. But let's go back to their statement again and be able to read a little bit. Let me share this here. Let me share their statement, because I think their statement is also indicting to them. So they said only BBC can best explain why it woefully deviated from true journalism and chose to be dishing junks and feeding the public with stones called bread by its offensive, disenchanted reports and disgruntled elements. Wow. How does their documentary, become a deviation from true journalism? No, I would say that is an exemplification of true journalism. When you take your time and you do your investigation and you bring real persons to come, and real victims to talk about it willfully, not coaxed, not intimidated, not bullied. They willfully give out their statements, allow it to be recorded and made into a documentary. There is nothing unprofessional about it. In fact, that is very, very professional. Now, this is, to say the least, is insulting to our professional and public intelligence. No. Your morality and your stupidity is actually insulting to our own intelligence as a public. One thing is very obvious. Hundreds of BBC charades cannot rubbish the indelible footprints of TB Joshua's legacy on earth again. Okay, we cannot rubbish it. What will rubbish it is coming. According to the church, there are numerous individuals who have experienced astonishing miracles and greatly benefited from the anointing and grace bestowed upon them by the Lord through TB Joshua. Now, let me talk a little bit about this. Do you hear what they said now? They said that some people have given testimonies about their healing. Sister Bisola is not here with us, but when Sister Bisola joins us, she'll be able to tell you, or you should go back to the interviews we did with Sister Bisola and the interviews that Sister Bisola had in her own has on her own channel, and you will see how they manipulate this thing. TB Joshua's church, when people come for healing, they actually go and put them in a hospital. They have doctors that take care of these people. If you come to their church like you come today, they pick out the simple cases. You know, sometimes it's just there's a wound on somebody's body. They came from the village. It's just that the wound was not taken care of. So the face of the wound is actually very horrible. Pus is coming out, but it's just a wound that all they need to do is to dress it well, give them a little bit of antibiotics, and they will get well. They know those kind of cases. But what they do is they bring those people, they bring the camera close to their wounds, and it's all gory and very, very horrible. And after documenting it, they will now take these people and put them in a hospital. These people will now start recovering. While they are recovering, this one will tell you, the media department will be following them up. When they fully recover, they'll now come back, and you will now see them that day when they come back, and they will warn them that, listen, if you want to be attended to, if you want them to pay for your hospital bill, if you want them to give you money after, this is what you have to do. And those people will now come there and start shouting that, I am healed, I am healed. While they're shouting, I am healed, they will now bring back the picture they took of them when they first came to that church. They make them wear the same kind of clothes. So when you see it, it just plays on your intelligence. Now it is here, now it's no longer there. You don't connect that this thing took a long time to happen. And those white ladies there in the documentary, they said that they were part of the ones who would actually select people, put them into groupings. And when they say the people with cancer, let's see you. When you think that the people with cancer are being isolated so that they will pray for healing for their cancer, no. After they've isolated those people, they will now make sure that those people are taken away. They're not going to be part of the whole thing because you have cancer, you have a real case. Please, we're not dealing with you. That's why they remove them. And then the people who come with little wound, deformity here, they will now say that those people, they ask you, what's wrong with you? Oh, I have headache. They will write, I have brain cancer. And that person will hold it up. So that by the time they give them whatever and they no longer have the headache and they are screaming in church, I am healed, I am healed. They will go back and bring the picture where that person will carry a placard saying, I have cancer. And I know how this thing works. Let me give you a little insight about what I'm saying and or how I understand how people can be manipulated to say what they are not saying. when you go to the emergency ward here, Comfort, you know what I'm talking about. When you go to the emergency ward here, they don't, if you just walk into the emergency ward, they'll keep you there for a very long time. You know, if you just walk to the emergency ward here, they'll keep you because you walk to the place. So they know it's not that serious. They'll start treating other people before they get to you. But if you walk into the emergency and you're screaming, in fact, if you call 911, if you walk into the emergency, they won't treat you. But if you call 911, 911 comes to you, they're not going to prevent you from walking into that 911. They'll just carry you into the 911. As soon as they're bringing you into the emergency, that's how they will rush you. That's how they start attending to you. So it's the way that you behave that will make them attend to you. So I can understand if you're telling people, behave like this so that they will attend to you, you know. And I'm going to pause here to thank one of our people who these are the people who come here on a mission. So we normally give them 1 minute and greet them. Kiddo, you're welcome here. You're welcome. You're doing your job. Please screenshot this and take it back to your people can see that you're working.
Jobless internet rats.
It's good to have you here. Thank you so much. And Akida, share this video. I told you the only way you can make us, you can destroy us is to share the video. Go and show your people the kind of nonsense that these people are coming. Then go to Bisola's channel, subscribe. Go to my channel, subscribe. Go to Simba. Just carry our story and spread everywhere so that people can rubbish us. That's the only way you can bring us down.
You know, you see, when I see, obviously this person is a ghost, right? They're coward. They don't want to put their face on here. But wherever they are, hopefully they don't have any children, because in the world we're living in, they're predators. And so by this, it just it worries me so much. But I think a lot about when you're sharing, how are we going to resolve this? And it's going to start by shutting the silence, right? Like what my sister Bisola and the other women did. And I think we've developed a culture of shaming victims, That's the master tool that is used a lot of times to harsh victims. And so I want to say, I want to give examples of cases that have been happening here in the US, just to bring it close to home where I've been based last 20 years. We have the Catholic, we have the Archdiocese here in St. Paul where I live, where it took one young man, he was in his 40s, to speak up because the pain from the way he had been molested as a child had affected him. It had affected his whole life, and he had nothing to lose. He came out, right? And we have had thousands and thousands of lawsuits of who have molested young boys. And not only the Archdiocese in St. Paul, but we've had the Archdiocese elsewhere, all the way to Minnesota here, all the way to Rome. Cases that are coming out of the closet, right? And then we have the Boy Scouts case right now.
Yeah.
And so when you look at these men and or women who perpetrate violence, in this case, I'll talk about the men because TB Joshua was a man. They are dirty. They create themselves dirty. They are actually predators. They groom. What does grooming mean? They create the right environment so that you trust your life. And when I was listening to young women yesterday, now they're in their middle age. Even I've listened to Sister Bisola's testimony off the record before. They actually developed this trust with the people. So by the time the rape happens, the victim doesn't even know what just hit them, because this is supposed to be a daddy, a protector. And so I think anybody who's listening under the sound of my voice, if you're ever going to be a parent, if you're an uncle, if you're an auntie, and hopefully you have a conscience in you, you have to understand that it is not that simple for you to minimize the voices of victims because you want TB Joshua to be right, or because you think TB Joshua was right. That's what I want.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comfort. So going forward, and this is where I really want us, because it's easy for us to complain, but the man is dead, he's gone. Now, Bisola, before you speak, I really want. I want. Maybe you're going to have to coordinate with Comfort, so that I want us to do something practical. If there are agencies if there are foundations who can help, Bisola, you have contact of these people. You can start, bringing them together, and let us begin to pair them up with these agencies and see how they can get help. People like
Yes.
Ajope, people like all these of them that some people are still so traumatized. Some people can't even come and show their face because they know their life is ruined. So please comfort. I really appreciate if you can help out, team up with Bisola, let her coordinate some of these voices that they are so traumatized and they can't even afford to put their faces out there in the public. And if they can have access to some of the resources that are there, I know there are so many of them in the US and internationally, and Simba also does work in that regard. And whatever I can do, I'll be willing to help. It will be nice to hear some positive story coming out of all of this. People have been damaged. People have been deprived of their life. Some of these girls are not even brave enough to think about relationships. They are so scared of anybody coming near them. They can't even have kids anymore, or even have a meaningful life. They're still traumatized. So I would like to see progress in that direction. If we can get justice for some of these people, that would be fine, honestly.
Thank you, Dr. Chidi. Now that BBC has stepped it up, yes, we will ride on that and begin to act on it. Before, when it was a lone voice in the wilderness, nobody wants to listen. I remember in 2016, I went to Christian Association of Nigeria headquarters, and I spoke to the president and the secretary, and they don't want to. The president told me point blank, he's not interested. But now, and that is what makes me, to now say, okay, I need to move from victim to a voice. That's what brought about the foundation. You understand? That we can even write, authority letter. You understand? It was a journey. I want to address somebody. Somebody is asking, what about vomiting during church service? Is it real? Rosie, these are the problem of many people. They give you what you see that will keep you busy, instead of you to focus on God. These are the people that are introducing third-party God to you. This is a show business. Stop following shows.
So quickly, tell us what happened. I think you had left the church by the time Jim Ike came to the church, right?
Yes, I had.
Okay. But I don't know why it is difficult for people to understand when Jim Ike says this is exactly what happened.
Let me tell you, it's the same pattern. I was in the synagogue when Kanu Nwankwo visited.
Yes.
And it was brought in the studio where I work as the studio manager. New camera was brought in, and I was instructed that this must be well recorded. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And KK that they asked, and Mr. Shegun were the one that, that were behind the camera. All what TB Joshua wanted was just to market himself with big names in the society. And the moment he did what he had to do with Kanu, and Kanu left, the manager of Kanu told him that nobody will believe spiritual healing. They want you to go through your medical history. Okay, if you are not going for surgery, can you go for another test? And when they did another test, he was still having heart problem. If you are still having heart problem, nobody will engage you. and you are still young. You have your future before you. And why all these things are happening? TB Joshua was asking me to call Kanu to manipulating him that you have been healed. You have been healed. Don't listen to them. You have been healed. Till they wheeled the man into surgery room. He was still calling. And they did his surgery. After they did his surgery, do you know what happened? TB Joshua called his media team. And they released that video that we have done earlier into the public. That it was the one that healed him. Kanu never returned back to, because he knew the truth that he went through surgery. He said he was the one that he called press conference and he gave them money. And those people were going around telling people, but everybody knew Kanu went through. Thank God the young man went through surgery. He would have died like many other people. Not only that.
So let me.
I'm dropping names here. What about Amokachi? What about James Obiora?
But before you continue, these are celebrities that he brought, and he brought presidents of countries from now. But how about people who were sick, and you people confirmed that they were sick, but they were asked to stop taking medication? And then what became of them?
Is the instruction given to the workers. When people come, he tell them no more drugs, and many people died. There's a man in South Africa who play rugby. I will remember his name. He went to school with cancer of the brain. This man died. So also Chiluba. I was with Chiluba for 4 days in the apartment given to him. You understand? So what about, Amokachi? No more drugs. And then TB Joshua said Amokachi should be living in Swan to monitor his progress. After staying 2 months, he went to US for another club test. The man came back sad. That was when Amokachi, a top-notch celebrity, became bread seller in the synagogue supermarkets. Until some of his friends started visiting him and asked him, "Are you okay? Is it well with you?" Before he escaped.
Okay.
And when he was planning to escape, do you know the trap set for Amokachi? Bolaji was set against him, and meeting was called. The Amokachi is trying to corrupt our girls. So you are free to go now.
Wow.
Because something has been, tagged on him. So
Listen,
this is the psychology of TB Joshua.
There's someone here. His name is Nsikak John Michael. Nsikak John Michael, you're shaking your head. It looks like you know him, and he's accusing you. He says that you should tell us what you did in Sean 4 times before you were thrown out. And I'm asking this Nsikak John, why don't you come on? I'm going to send you a link. Don't just stay there and say, tell us. Since you know, why don't you click on the link? I've made the link public now. Click on the link and come and tell us that thing that you know that Bisola did 4 times before she was thrown out of the synagogue. And Bisola, one other question, somebody was saying, oh, I heard that Bisola came to beg. Although that story, I said, she's talked about it over and over again. Read her book. Go and check out the YouTube channel of Bisola, and you see where she explained the things that happened there, and how they recorded the video so that they can use it against you. Even in the documentary, where's this man now? That
which one?
Is this Atama? was that the man who was his right hand man,
Oh,
who
Paul Agomo.
Paul Agomo, yeah, Paul Agomo also spoke about some of the things that they would do. Where is Paul Agomo now?
Paul Agomo is fine. It's fine. And
Good.
for security reason, I cannot mention.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's okay. So, Mr. What's your name? Sikak, you have the floor right now. You can't say, well, I'm challenging you. You're here in the comment section. You have the link. Just click on the link. We'll bring you up here. Let's not waste time. Let's not take it another place. Busola is right here. So if you have any accusation, just throw it out there. See, we are all about the truth.
Yes.
We are all about. That's why I asked Bisola at the beginning. Tell us about Ajoke, because out there people are saying, "Oh, Ajoke is not true," but Bisola came and gave us even the foundation of.
That's
She
right.
was there when Ajoke was dropped at the church. So
That's
how basic can you be about a story? She told us the genesis of Ajoke in that place. Told us when Ajoke's mother came, TB Joshua recognized that this is Ajoke's mother and how he made sure this woman did not get to see the daughter, and eventually Ajoke was thrown out. And right now, it's not that they told you, she is in contact with Ajoke, helping to take care of Ajoke now. You see, it's all these people like Ajoke. If there was a foundation that could cater for them, if there's a foundation that we can pitch to.
There is, I'll connect with Sister Bisola. There's actually, this year we're sending a few survivors. There's a beautiful space here that will help survivors like Ajoke that you're mentioning, that will help them understand.
Let me reload because I need to,
Okay.
you need to.
Okay, reload and come back. Reload and come back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So while we are waiting, and Comfort, I'll wait for Bisola to come so she'll hear what you have to say, because it's very important to her. And while we are at it, someone complained, women always complain about marginalization, but one of the guys is speaking up here. He says the 5-story boys were also molested and nobody's talking about them. We're just talking about the women. So I agree with him. The boys were also really, really traumatized. Okay. So I think I have, are you Nsekak?
Hello.
No, you're not Nsekak. Hello, Troy.
No.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, everybody? Hello, Comfort. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I just want to say thank you to you guys for what you guys are doing. Bisola has been like more than a hero. I mean, she has been like, for many years, she has been like banging on this stupid bandit TV Joshua for many years, man. I saw her interview, that was some 5-6 years ago when she did with Sonda Delaja. I saw I mean, she has been the books, the pictures, the threads of her life and everything, even the other guy too, man. So I'm so happy that we are alive to see this. Because I have a couple of friends that I've been telling about these guys, but Africa is just doomed. And these guys knew, and they're taking opportunity. Man, they know that all they're saying are lies. They know, 100% they know. But because of our greed, or should I say lack of infrastructure, social amenities, people now tend to rely on religion. And that's the worst. Someone that is sick, instead of going to the hospital, you're telling the person, drink holy water, drink this, drink that. I mean, these guys are wicked. They don't care about people. They don't care about whether you die or you live. They don't. So
And
the agony is like,
people die.
Yeah, but my agony is, my pains are, they knew that what they're telling you are lies. They knew. The little money that you have, they are taking away from you.
Oh, from
The
widows.
little money you have, you are struggling, right? The little penny that you have, they are taking it away from you. They are taking it away from you, and they don't care. So I'm happy today. I'm alive to witness this, and this is shaking the whole world. Not only Africa, not only Nigeria. And I mean, these guys will be on the run. I mean, in the next couple of years, they will be on the run. I mean, this is game over, man. For TB Joshua to
Well,
go down, it's
let
game
me
over.
let me correct you there, Troy. You would think they're not going to be on any run. This is not. You don't know how that you. I think you underestimate these people. Let me tell you something. These guys are like organized crime. They're mafia. The only way they would go, they will be on the run is if we put them on the run. But if you think that this kind of exposure is going to make them no, to check out on Sunday, all of these people, everybody who is like TB Joshua, go and monitor their service on Sunday. They are preparing. On Sunday, they are going to spin this whole thing around. They're going to spin it so much around, and you will see the whole church will stand up.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm sorry
You
to cut
know,
you short. You know what I'm trying to tell you is that
yeah,
the rate of awakening
yeah.
is growing. No matter how you suppress the truth, I know how long Bisola tried to, I mean, to expose this bandit. I know what she did. I've been following Bisola for a long time. I know her story. You know, I've not met her personally, but she's a hero, man. I know the what happened during the Suleiman ordeal with the other lady. I was following them, man. I know Sunday Adelaja, I was following him. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, slowly but surely. I know a couple of years ago, a lot of us are being brainwashed. We are just like victims. They are like some of the people calling Bisola, yeah, devil, yeah, but today, now they're on their side. They're on the side of the truth. Yeah, my point is that not that they won't try to, change the narrative. Sure, they do because they are protecting their business. So, but what I'm saying is definitely in few years now, okay, like a couple of years ago, we hear you get a course, you be cursed, but nobody cares about course again because people know that it's no longer working. Those things are fake. Those are a fiction. So, a couple of years, few years to come, definitely we'll get there surely.
All right, all right.
Especially with the invention of internet, things are
Yeah,
changing.
I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
and
So thank you guys.
no, thank you, Troy, and let me really thank you for when we hear people like you talk. It's encouraging. It's encouraging because we started way back with this thing when there were not so many people on the internet talking. The Suleiman story you just mentioned here. It's I and my wife. I and my wife were supposed to be dead by now with all the curses they put on us. We didn't die. So it's encouraging when someone says, oh, I used to be one of those skeptics, but now our eyes are open. I pray that more people's eyes are open. It's very encouraging because we're like the lone wolf. All of us that were into this thing, we were like the lone wolf. People will castigate us, people will spit us out of their mouth. I had in-laws of mine. I had my sister-in-law writing letters to me and telling me that it will never be well with us. They put a curse on us. But through the years, instead of being a curse, God is just blessing me and blessing me. I don't know. I want more of that curse, please. All those people that are cursing me, can you curse a little bit more? Because there's something you guys have said that triggered something in the spirit, and I just keep getting better and better. You see, growing all this beautiful mustache, just looking fine every day. So
it's what happened with their brother Simba too. I think it's like an attest on the Zimbabwe side.
Yeah.
People give Simba a hard time, and yet he exposes the gold mafia. They still call him names. So nothing new under the sun. They did it to some of the prophets in the word of God.
Yeah. So Comfort, you were going to talk about some of the resources that because somebody was asking how can we be of help to Stabisola, and I know there's so many ways. It's easy for us to post an account detail here and say put money in this account, but we know all the shenanigans that comes with those kind of things. and where we've been from. So we have to be a little bit careful with that. Okay, this is hold on, guys, hold on 1 second. I'm on a live show. Can I call you back? All right, thank you. So we don't want to go through that because the devil, that's where I can talk about the devil. Now I don't also want to give so much credit to the devil, but I think we need to be a little bit smarter. When it comes to money, these are places that the enemy will use to come and destroy any good thing that you've done. Yeah, you may have done a lot of good work, and then just this tiny, when it comes to money, you just throw it in and everything destroys. So we're going to be careful about that. But Comfort, I'm very, very interested in what you were about to talk about, foundations and how they can come in and help.
Absolutely. So, it's interesting. I love God because God is a God of timing. I think when I met Sister Bisola, it's a long time ago. I went abroad with my work, traveled the world, whatever I was doing. And then now here we are. And I think some of the resources that I've had access to here in the States was really God preparing for today, for this specific day. I will share with Sister Bisola because it is a private place. It is actually it is a very wealthy couple that have a beautiful 5-star resort like retreat, and the only mission is to heal survivors of sexual assault. Now, it is faith based, but it is also open. It is women go there. They spend 3 days. There's a private chef. There's private living quarters. It's only women. The psychiatrists, the psychologists, all the healers, they are women. It was one of the most beautiful places I've been. We only have to come up, and we will talk about the Sister Bisola. We can strategize how to come up with the airfare. It should not be an issue if everybody's flying in from like this is South Africa or Nigeria. I know the place is in Atlanta, Georgia. Outside of Atlanta, it's in a rural part. There's also one in Utah. Because I personally have gone through it as a survivor myself, I can attest to it. It's not just something I send all the women I work with. So that's one of the resources. And as we talk after the meeting, because I'm going to jump into a meeting in 2 minutes, Sister Bisola, Simba, and I will connect with you. There's a lot of resources for healing because when this kind of trauma happens, the Bible says the sin against your body, it does something to your soul. The violation of your body, of your temple, does something to your soul. So there's a long journey of healing that needs to happen for these survivors that are brave, that are talking. And I know there's a lot more that are not even that have not even begun to talk. And then I want to address for the men, for the young men, there are also resources. Contrary to the popular belief, there are resources for young men, and I have some really great connections. So I'll be sharing those with you, Sister Bisola, and also Dr. Chidi. I will get your information, your details from Sister Bisola and Mr. Chikanza. If you need to have some of those resources handy to share, because I know some people are not willing to.
Oh, I think we've lost Comfort. Maybe we should come back. Okay, Comfort, you're back. You're back. Yeah, but thank you so much. I got what you're saying. I really, really, that's where I see myself in this work that we've been doing. I mean, we go from phase to phase, and I'm no longer about. That's why a lot of people have been asking, where's Dr. Chidi? I've been off the scene for a long time because, like, we've been there, done that. We've talked about this thing, but people just don't get justice. So I am leaning towards what you're saying, and I really thank God for bringing you. This was not part of the plan, but here you are. So I think it's when God has destined a thing to happen, it will happen. I think this is my first broadcast in how many months now, and it's going beautifully well, and I'm so grateful to God about how everything is going. Comfort, thank you so much. I know you need to run off to your meeting, and we'll reconnect after the show. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Comfort. I really appreciate you.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. So Sister Bisola, they'll connect with you, and then you guys, there's not much I can do. You know how I do my own thing. I'm all about being there and connecting people. And whatever God lays in my heart to do, I'll continue to do it. And before we close, I think we need to do something officially. Me and you fought, and we went our separate. We fought and we went our separate ways because of the what's the name, the testimony thing.
it's just misunderstanding, and that is just me for you. When it comes to something for humanity, I always put my pettiness aside.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
And join together. This documentary, if I want to be petty, I supposed not to join. I would have said, I've been fighting all over and now that you are now ready, calling me. But I put that aside. It's, it's
same thing.
We are together on this.
Same thing with me, Bisola. If you know me very well, I'm not doing anything with this lady anymore. But see, the truth is the truth. When it comes to J0SHUA's issue, I told my wife, listen, nobody can take this away from Bisola. You are the hero of this. You're the champion of this. You fought that good fight. You put your life on the line. I remember when I would call you.
Family,
everything. I remember those days when I'll call you and you say, I can't come live because I'm not in my house. I ran away from my house. I didn't sleep in my house. I have to find somewhere to sleep. This is how I've been going for days. My power bank is dead. I have to charge my phone because I know, and that was real. And people don't understand. People don't understand that it was real. So I apologize for whatever happened, and I forgive you too.
No, it's fine. We don't even need to revisit it.
No, you see, no, you know why I revisit it? Let me tell you why I revisit it. I revisit it because it's important. Somebody's asking you to unblock them. I'm sure maybe they too have something to settle with you. So please unblock Takaleme, whatever, and forgive them.
Okay. Yeah. That's unblock is just, you don't want to talk too much. You don't want to start, going.
Yeah, sure. So guys, let's get about this thing. Let's continue the fight. Let's get justice to people, and let's live happily ever after. Whoever is a bad person, let them be dealing with their badness, and let their badness not come and destroy anything good that we all do. We're all in this fight together. It has cost us so much. We've thrown so much in, and we'll continue doing what we're doing. Bisola, one last thing you want to say to people before we let you go?
Yes, I want to appreciate everyone, all the truth lover. And I want us to be patient with people who are not believing. God is still believing in us. The word of God says, even when we are sinner, Christ came to die. When we are his enemy, he still died. So let's continue praying for them. We pray that their eyes of understanding will be open. I remember when I was in Squan, doing what I was commanded to do, destroying people's life, and any opportunity I find this, like this, is opportunity to confess and to readdress and to apologize. And that is what life is all about. Yes, let's apologize. Okay, we are all human beings, we are sorry. How can we, do it right so that we can move forward? But for you to be proven as if, you still had, life is easy.
Yeah.
And we are all passing away. So that's just it. I appreciate everyone, your love, your prayers. Yes, we still need more of it. And this is not vindicative. This is just to tell our story so that people will not fall into the trap God delivered us from. Many people didn't make it. Many people didn't make it. Even some people who are still alive, they can't still find their feet. Many people, they think maybe, Bisola is so rich because they see me on TV. It is just the courage. It is just the empathy for humanity. You understand? Yeah, over the years we have gotten the voice. You understand? But you know,
All
we
right.
know how it
Thank
take
you,
us
thank
there.
you, thank you, Bisola. Thank you, Bisola. We really appreciate you. And I'm going to, before we close, I'm going to give Simba a chance to make a closing statement. But someone is also asking you
How Kakande.
about Kakande, that you know him very.
Kakande beginning. Hey, I was the one that gave Kakande information to TB Joshua that the man is rich. And TB Joshua hijacked him and took him to the mountain. And that was how Kakande and his wife went on their separate ways. It was Kakande's wife who had HIV that, visited synagogue for healing. After she has been coming, it's not that you go there and they heal you one time. It's, all those lies. Oh, he stretched his hand and the following day they get certificate. Is a lie. Only Nigerians has positive and negative certificates. Other nations do not have, because it's only in Nigeria that you can do all those backdoor certificates, scam. So she keep coming every month to come and collect water. So the husband followed her. At that time, synagogue had started building, a guest house. So I was in charge of the guest house. You understand? Working in the studio, in charge of guest house and visitors. I remember that anytime I call the visitors for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, this man is always in suit. So one day I asked him, I said, sir, loosen up. Put on your t-shirt. Put on your short sneaker. No, he said he's a pastor. And, he's here because of his wife. He said he's really rich. That he got married to his wife inside aircraft. He got the aircraft and they flew from one country to another, having celebration of marriage. I said, wow. He said the only problem he had is his wife problem. So I said, okay, they were talking to me in the studio. I said, okay, please, I want to go to the toilet. TB Joshua, there is a rich man. And even before then, I said, what concerns me? Many of you don't know why I'm doing this. I was part of it. I said, at that time, nobody knows synagogue that much. I said, we want synagogue video to be shown in your country. He said he does not only have influence in Uganda alone. He has in Tanzania. He has in Central Africa. That was what took me out of the studio. I went to tell TB Joshua, there is a man, blah, blah. He said, but his problem is his wife. His wife has not been healed. He said he has taken his wife to Dubai and to America to do tests. And the HIV is still, is still there. He said, bring them here. So he called Olaiton, late Olaiton. He said, ask this lady to come back to emergency for prayer. Hey, how are you? I understand you're a pastor. Come with me. I will take you to the prayer mountain. The visit of prayer mountain changed the orientation of Kakande. The following month, when they returned, it was the only wife that came. Where is your husband? The woman was smiling. He's coming. He came a week after. And when he came with a Monterio. He flew the Monterio, not inside a ship. He flew the Monterio flight from Dubai to Nigeria. They went to clear the Monterio for him. So after, TB Joshua said I should tell him, if you want healing for your wife and you want power, you too, you should go to Uganda and become like me. You should give man of God, help man of God. Oh, that man, I've received $500,000 from Kakande. I have received $200,000. I'm not talking about when money, I'm talking about in the 2002. You understand? When money really have values. So the wife of Kakande started, there's a body language. It's like there's no healing, and my husband is spending so much. Then TB Joshua said, tell Kakande to change the name of his church, because I want to give him more power so that he can become like me. Everybody wants power. That's the problem with all these fake pastors. So change the name of your church to synagogue. I told him, he agreed. The next time he came, he said he has changed. TB Joshua said, are you okay? Tell him to bring the certificate. I told him, I said, where's the certificate? That was when Kakande confided in me. He said, Bisola, my wife family do not want me to divorce my wife, because they love me, they love ours. So they have given me my wife's junior sister to be sleeping with. And my wife, yes, and my wife junior sister is having a baby boy for me. I say, oh, sorry.
While the wife is still sick.
Yes. So I dashed and told TB Joshua. TB Joshua said, hey. I was shocked in the next service. I just saw TB Joshua. There is a man here. You are not a Nigerian. You are working in the vineyard. You are sleeping with your wife sister, and there is a boy involved. Come for deliverance. And Olamide called me and said, Papa is calling you in church 5. I ran there. He said, ask him to come out. In case he want to blackmail us, so that we can have a video. I ran. People don't know the work we have done without pay. I ran. I said, it's like the spirit is talking about your case. And the man went out. They camera him and he sat down. And the next thing is that you have to divorce your wife. You are not meant together. The wife is my friend, is still my friend. And that was how the man divorced the wife. In the next 2 months, the man Kakande brought a young girl, like 19 years. The marriage was conducted inside the synagogue. Kakande married close to 5 wives. After that young girl, he divorced her, married another one. So I'm telling you for free. Okay.
Thank you so much. This one is just heavy bonus, because we're already rounding up, and then Simba has to go. So Simba, just give us your closing remark as we sign off.
Oh, thanks, Judy. I really have to go. I would love to have another session, because I think there's a lot here to discuss, and that maybe we'll do it in the news. Let's plan something out there, maybe have a few more people, especially skeptics, especially people who would like to express their discontentment or their disaffection with the documentary.
Sure.
So yeah,
we'll arrange this and I'll let you know. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's plan that schedule. Yeah, but thank you, Chidi, for bringing me in, and I am enthralled. I'm happy that at last, after how many years now? After over 11 years. Oh, sorry, apologies.
No problem. Yeah, but we did hear you, Simba, and someone is also, actually we did hear you. I will arrange, and then God willing, all of us will come back and we'll have more people, because this hopefully has opened another opportunity for us to continue the fight. And as Bisola said, we'll be able to get people freedom Someone just corrected me here and said it's not rounding up, it's rounding off. Okay, sorry, I accept. So as we begin to round off, if I say round up tomorrow, come and beat me. Maybe I'm in my house, and this is my plan. See, everything where they talk now, this is the one that really just got this person's attention. But I apologize. I'm sorry. It's rounding off. So guys, please delete that place I say rounding up, and it's rounding off now. So as we are rounding off, Bisola, I want to thank you again. And then please, when I invite you another time, I think somebody is trying to sneak in. We have to really go, but this one that sneaked in. National boy, you want to say something?
Yeah.
We are rounding off.
Dr. Chidi, longest time, Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you. Please, we are rounding up.
As black as the night. Okay, good.
Okay, now we have lights. Okay, it's my man. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sister Bisola, good evening, ma.
Well done, sir.
Blessing, ma. Actually, Dr. Chidi, we miss you.
I miss you guys too.
Hello, sir. Let's just quickly comment on this stuff. I've watched this BBC documentary and I've listened to Sister Bisola. Actually, I've not been Sister Bisola before because this guy, what's he called? Shegun Olo.
Yeah.
Objective.
Shegun did. Yes. Objective.
He has been doing these things since then. So that's why I'm not surprised that Sister Bisola is still relevant talking about this thing today. This is her story. Yes. Some people are just seeing her for the very first time and they never knew this lady has been talking. She has been talking. And that is the hypocrisy of Nigeria. I'm really kind of being ashamed for some certain things. When Objective Shegun Olo did this interview with Sister Bisola, Nigeria never take it for as in, they didn't watch it, they didn't even bother. So now BBC is doing it, they are all shouting. Like this is the first time the story is coming out. This story has been there.
2008.
This story has been there.
I know.
Now, BBC is taking credit of Nigerian story that was already being told by Nigerians, but never appreciated.
You know, sometimes that's the way God wants it to be. You still, as long as people finally get to hear it, no problem. Everybody's playing their role. Maybe this is why God allowed it to take, because look at it now. When they're telling the story, you're able to say that since the thing done it. But if that first time it happened, maybe it will not be able to gather this much dust. So at the end of the day, let's not be angry with anybody. Everybody's just playing their role. I came in when I came in. I played my own role and continued. All of these things. Sister Bisola did what she did at the time. It wasn't easy. We all draw back from this whole thing. We lose steam. We go to deal with issues of life. Then we bounce back again. Like this time around, we are gathering our energy again to just try to push again. So we just have to keep doing what we're doing. But thanks to people like you who keep encouraging us, who come and say, look, thank you for what you're doing. We need all that.
And we encourage people, actually, all these journalists that do this secret investigation, we encourage them to do the investigation of the living more.
Yes, so,
living. The living.
Man. What's that one?
Hello, Dr. Chidi, I'm going on.
You don't have to get in trouble. You don't have to get in trouble.
What kills story more is the media in Nigeria.
I'm telling you.
They love money. They love, brown envelope. And they will go out and give a different narrative. I know Sahara reporter have written bad thing about me before. You understand?
Yeah.
I know a lot of, journalists who have, written bad thing because they go to span and collect money.
No, but let me tell you one thing. You see, I am close to the convener and the founder of Sahara Reporters, Samuel J0SHUA. One thing I know they do is, if, just like in journalism, if there's a story that comes up about you, because if anybody investigates you, if anybody asks people about you, they will hear the good, the bad, the ugly about you. If a story is written about you and you think that story is not right, don't get angry. Don't move away from the people. Just put in your own version of the story. That's all. And when it gets published, the truth will always triumph over evil. Sometimes it is good for people to hear the story that is not the real thing about you, so that when you now come with the truth, people will be like, so that is really what happened. Because look at the stories you're telling us right now. People are saying it because of the version they heard. So they are saying, tell us about this. Tell us about this. So when you now talk about it, it will be an opportunity for them to counter it. Right now, if you search Sahara Reporters right now, I'm telling you, you would see that there are stories about, because you don't get to see all the stories. You see stories about you and commendation about what you said concerning TB Joshua. Because let me also tell you this. People don't know this. Every newspaper, like Sahara Reporters, has its own news that comes from them and their own reporters. They now have the opinion page, stories that people submit to them. Now, yes, of course, that's how it works. So some stories you would have to, if you call J0SHUA now and say this one, say, I have an editor, he will read about it like you. Then all he can do is he will even go on the newspaper and make his own comment. You will not believe it. So what happens is, it's not possible. And there was a time he was telling me that, Chidi, it's not good business if I have a team, I pay them, I have an editor, I have all these people, and it is me now that will still let them do their job. So if you hear any story, just write a rejoinder tell your own side of the story. That's all we can do.
Let me say this. Sorry, maybe till we just close. Another problem, in Nigeria is this copy and paste journalism. There was a time TB Joshua was floating a print media called The Exclusive. When the professionals, when they were doing their job, because TB Joshua always wants to control. So one day, they called me out of the studio and they said that he was having meeting with this journalist. When I was about to enter, what I had was that I will give you somebody that will control you. As I enter, he said, Bisola is now your MD. That was the first time I had a job, an outside job. I will wake up 7 o'clock. A driver will take me to the office. I will do what I can do, organize the office. Do you know that every story that a professional will write, TB Joshua must ratify it?
I know.
At the end of the day, everything was just in shambles. The only thing I used in sustaining that newspaper while I was there was that I contacted some of his rich friends, like Jimo Ibrahim, like Texaco woman and some people, and said, I just went there. TB Joshua didn't send me. I packaged some things. I said, a gift to you from TB Joshua. And I put the newspaper. He said you should be advertising. But, because they are follower, they started pouring money in. That was the money we were using to print the newspaper every week. But the moment he saw my antics, one day he called me. He said, where are you? I said, I am with Iyabo Obasanjo in Abeokuta, the Commissioner of Health. Somebody told me that Papa said, you will soon run away. So within 1 week, he said I should stop going. and within 3 months, that newspaper collapsed because
Wow.
the new person didn't know how I managed.
Yeah.
Try to ask me. They tried to ask me. I refuse. I said, I don't know. Use your head.
See, Bisola, just to let you know, because we have an opportunity to do this, so let me just show you. This is and people will say, "Oh, you're trying to defend your people." Well, Omoyele Sowore is my friend. I know what happens in Sahara Reporters, so
No,
let me
you
use
have
that.
explained. No problem. You have
So let
explained.
me, and of course, it's your friend too. So see, this is Sahara Reporters, okay? If you take on Sahara Reporters for now, you see news. You see here, this is news. This is the one that they follow the news. Do you understand? Now this is opinion. This is news. Okay. So when you go to their opinion, this will be things that people have submitted to them. Yes, they vet it, but it is that person's opinion, and they try to practice balanced journalism. It is not the way they see it, but this is what people are saying. This is what people think. Now, and that's what we just did now. We just threw this space open. The people here that they don't want to, I'm putting the link again. Why they are not picking this link and coming up? You know very well, because they know what you're saying is the truth. They can't defend it. So that's what we're doing, balanced journalism here. We have
right.
told anybody that wants to come, don't say we are hiding it. It's open. Come, click, take the video, mount the camera, and say your own opinion. So that's what they try to do in Sahara Reporters. But thank you so much, Sister Bisola. And once again, I really want to thank you, and may God give you the strength to keep doing what you're doing. Okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, guys. That was Sister Bisola. I thank her for coming in a very, very short notice. And like she said, she was gracious to come on the show after we've disconnected for a very long time. In fact, after what happened in the you see this man, I've even forgotten his name. What was his name? Baby Testimony and that man's church now. What's his name? Somebody write it on the comment box, please. That's how I threw these people far away from me. After that, we've not even spoken. We've just text back and forth. We had blocked each other. But at the end of the day, once this happened, Jeremiah for Finn, yes, that one. After that, we've not even spoken. We've not had anything to do together. But as soon as this news broke, I reached out to her, and I was also glad that she responded immediately. And I also reached out to a lot of other people who have been on this case with us. Doris Ogala was going to even come on the show, talk a little bit. But guys, we're back. As you can see, we took some time off to take care of business and to kind of recharge, understand where things are going, especially with the politics and the election in Nigeria. I just developed fatigue with Nigerian things. Nigerian story just tire me. I don't want to do again, But as God gives us the grace, we'll continue to pursue these things. I want to be on the side of bringing justice to people who have been victims at the hands of all these our notorious pastors all over the place. If I talk now, they want to bring down my channel. But there are so many of them. So the comedians around us. Someone say, don't touch them, but there are so many of them now. I see my brother Odumeje, you're doing what you're doing. You're laughing, we're clapping for you. But you see them, somebody that has cancer is sitting down before you. This woman, what did you say? He says parallelogram. You have parallelogram. Which disease is parallelogram? Yeah, and you're joking with it, and the woman is dying. And I say, they diagnose you and say you have chemotherapy. It's not chemotherapy. There's nothing like chemotherapy. And you give the woman water. And we allow these things, and the government allows it. There are so many of them, just so many of them. I'm looking forward to a period where somebody will stamp down their feet and say enough of all this nonsense. If they are proving, you can't prove something that is spiritual, but if they are proving cases of girls being raped, then take the people to court. Let us get some judgments against these people. Okay, let's get some justice for their victims, and let it teach some of them a lesson. Okay, you cannot be telling us you're a pastor and be eating the money of your parishioners who are very poor and struggling. Carry their money and flaunt it all over the place. Go and be living in 5-star hotels with women when your people cannot even afford 3 square meals. No, that is great injustice, I beg. All right, guys, it's time to go. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. I don't know why we've not gotten up to 1,000. Come on now. I mean, with 100,000. Now, course, let us get to 100,000 now. We never try. Go and get that placard, put it here, and give all of you credit for that. So please, if all of you subscribe, if all of you share our videos, we'll get up to 1,000. But it's good to be back, and I'll see you guys. Quick announcement: we're going to be having what do they call it? We're going to be having an inauguration of Igbo Marriage Council here. This is just beside the point in August, and a lot of you want to come. You've indicated your interest in coming for this conference. If you are interested, you can contact me, and I'll show you how to register for the conference, and maybe you'll get a visa to come to Canada. But we'll talk behind the scene. Thank you so much, all of you, and I'll see you guys in next episode very soon. And on behalf of Dr. Erica and every member of our WMTV crew here in Toronto, Canada, I love you. Bye-bye.